Okay, so for Rathma's build guide, I'm just going to go over from left to right on my abilities down here. And I'm going to start out by going over Bone Armor. Bone Armor is going to match up basically to two item bonuses I have. It has the Dislocation Rune, which goes for enemies hit are also stunned for 2 seconds. So that matches up to Crispin Sentence, which you deal 98% increased damage against slowed enemies or triple this bonus against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect, which controlling impairing effect includes a stun. So now it's going to do triple damage when I use this ability. Side of the Cycle. Your secondary skills deal 300% additional damage while Bone Armor is active, but reduce the remaining duration of Bone Armor by 4 seconds. And just to go over the rest of my customized items, I've got Tasker Gloves, increase attack speed of your pets by 50%. This is a very pet intensive build, so Tasker Gloves are definitely, I would say, optimal for this build. Okay, so next up is Command Skeleton's Freezing Grasp. The target of your command is frozen for 3 seconds. Here again, this goes back to Crispin Sentence. You deal 80% damage against slowed or triple this damage against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. Frozen, so now they're going to do triple damage. Okay, next up is Devour, Devouring Aura. You are emitting an aura that consumes all corpses within 15 yards to restore 11 essence per corpse. So this is a very important skill, mainly because it fuels your essence. You're going to burn a lot of essence by casting Skeletal Mages constantly, so you need to have essence coming in at all times. So I just, for me, not being the type of person who likes to micromanage, I went ahead and just put the aura on so that I'm constantly getting those corpses coming in. And what that also feeds into is this particular item, Moribund Gauntlets. Your golem sheds a corpse every second. So every second my golem is dropping a corpse, I'm consuming it using Devouring Aura if I'm close enough, and I'm getting essence and life every second. So it's very important for keeping you going. And of course I'm using Command Golem, raise a Flesh Golem to fight for you. Flesh Golems deal 450% weapon damage as physical per attack. And the active ability is Command the Golem to target locations where it collapses into a pile of 8 usable corpses. 8 corpses, that's just more fuel for your spells. So I just feel like that's probably overall the best ability or best way I can use the Golem. So Decrepify. My main reason for using it is because of this rune right here. Cursed enemies have a 10% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds when hit. So this is really important because here again, it's going back to this. You deal 98% damage against load enemies or triple damage against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. So here again, another triple damage bonus for stunned enemies. And also, it's hugely important because of the attack speed or damage reduction and movement speed reduction. And it ties into this belt right here, Dainty's Binding. You gain an additional 48% damage reduction when there is an enemy afflicted by your Decrepify. So now I've got a 50% damage reduction set bonus from my pets, and whenever I cast a curse, well, not a curse, Decrepify in particular, I get 48% damage reduction. So I'm getting, as long as I remember to cast Decrepify, I'm going to get 98% damage reduction, which is pretty huge, and especially as you get into greater rifts. And then finally, Skeletal Mage. The Skeletal Mage is boosted in a number of ways. Number one, by your 6-set bonus. Each active Skeletal Mage increases the damage of your minions and Army of the Dead by 250%. So you can have a maximum of 10 Skeletal Mages. And what's really important as well is I have Circle of Nagel's Evil, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You may now raise an additional Skeletal Mage with each cast, and they last an additional 4 seconds. So the Skeletal Mage is really, to me, as a person, I'm just getting into what I like, is the Necromancer. He's got his army of undead warriors, but now he can cast mages, which mages really weren't a factor. Spellcasters weren't a factor in the Diablo 2 Necromancer. So I was really happy to see Skeletal Mages. So because of this item bonus, I can bump up to this 250% damage bonus. I can multiply that by 10 in 5 casts. Watch this. Plus, they're benefiting by my Tasker's Gloves. They're also benefiting by Rigor Mortis. Skeletal Mage Contamination is a poison effect. Poison abilities also slow enemies. So now I'm feeding into several bonuses now because Bane of the Trapped adds 30% damage to slowed enemies, 98% damage against slowed enemies, and I've got this Rigor Mortis, which just adds a damage or a attack speed reduction. So you hit Decrepify, Skeletal Mages, Bone Armor, and your pet's doing damage, and you've got massive stacks of damage reduction going on. Plus, Decrepify just in general is a major debuff against mobs. So you have helped yourself in just huge ways, defensively and offensively at the same time. This is the weaving of the Necromancer class that Blizzard's devised. So even though it's a pet class, there is actually, for me personally, a lot of intensive clicking. Like, I'm regularly keeping Skeletal Mages as many casts as I can. I'm putting Decrepify. Now, I'm only on GRIF 55, so this is pretty low. But for bosses, I always put Decrepify on them. Command Skeletons, it has a duration of 5 seconds. That 5-second duration is not mentioned anywhere in the tooltip. So that's good to know for people who aren't really familiar, is that it's a 5-second duration. So you just got to remember to keep recasting it every few seconds. And then, of course, Bone Armor is providing that massive boost on top of all this because it's poison as well. So just lots of combining set bonuses and synergies. But yeah, it is a bit clicky. So you have to get your clicking fingers ready, or button mashing skills depending on your setup. And then one more important set bonus I better not leave out of this is the Skull Scythe set. Here's the bonus. When the target of your command skeleton dies, your skeletons are automatically commanded to attack a nearby target. So generally, if you don't have this set going for you, your pets, once you do the command ability, that command ability basically shuts off as soon as the target dies. But with this, if it dies in like half a second, which is the case a lot of times, they're going to just fly over to another enemy and keep going until the attack command, the command skeleton abilities timer, 5-second timer, is used up. So while your skeletons are commanded to attack a target, all of your minions deal 400% increased damage. So that applies to your skeletal mages as well, which add individually a 250% damage bonus. So the potential for damage is just huge. Now, for gems, I chose, like this gem, let's see, yeah. I don't know why I have this regen gem. It's not really, I don't know if anybody uses this, but it's in here. I've gotten to Rift 57 using it. I don't care. I'm building up another gem right now. But anyway, Bane of the Trapped, obviously very important because of the poison, and Decrepify are adding a slow effect. And then I've got Z Stone of Vengeance. So basically what it means is, like, let's say you have a group of enemies over on the corner. You just set your mages over here, and you can just leave the room. You don't have to, the further away the better, actually. So that keeps you out of line of sight. It doesn't force you to get into line of sight like, say, a Bone Sphere build does. You can cast these and then just walk away. It's, in a way, it's actually a vastly superior way to use your abilities, especially Z Stone. It lets you get as much distance and out of line of sight as you need to be. So anyway, that's the basics of this build. And if you're watching this and thinking my damage isn't that great, well, look at my gems. My highest gem is rank 50. Then I've got a 47 and a 48, which here again, I apologize for using the wildebeest gizzard, but it's for some reason it got in there and I just haven't messed with changing it. I'm not to the highest G Rift level just yet, so that's just what I'm using for now. But anyway, that's all I've got, and I enjoy the Rathma set. I think it's very fitting for the Necromancer class. It definitely fits into what I wanted to see from the Necromancer when Blizzard announced it was coming to Diablo 3. So just for anybody watching, if you enjoy the pet minions, lots of pets going off and stuff, this is definitely a very fun build. I don't know how viable it is at GRIFT 80, 90, 100, 120, whatever it's up to right now. But for the time being, it's serving me very well. So, and I'm having fun with it, which is the whole point of these builds. So that's all I got, and thanks for watching.